Today we are studying 8 different modal verbs. Can, could, may, might, should, must, will, and would. But today's video is divided into 2 parts, and this is very important. Part 1, we are going to take each and every one of them, and I'm going to tell you all possible uses for each one. In part 2, we're going to take the main uses, and I'm going to give you all the different modal verbs that can be used to express this use. But I'm also going to give you a power level, and this is a key concept because modal verbs do not have the same power. First things first, what is a modal verb? Modal verbs are helping verbs. They help other verbs. And we use modals to talk about abilities, for example. She can swim. She has the ability to swim. The main verb is not can. The main verb is swim. But can is helping swim to show a different aspect of the verb. Possibilities. He might come to the party. It's possible that he will come to the party. Permissions. If you ask for permission, you can say, "May I leave?" Obligations. You must wear a seatbelt. Let's start with an easy one. Can. Can has 6 different uses. Here's the first one. You can use it to show ability. She can ride a bicycle. She has the ability to ride a bicycle. Or you can use it as a negative ability. I can't ride a bicycle, for example. Number 2, permission. You can use my car. It means you are giving the person your permission to use your car. Possibility. This road can be dangerous at night. It means that this road has the possibility to be dangerous at night. A request. Can you help me with my homework? Instead of saying, "Hey, help me with my homework." It's much more polite to say, "Can you help me?" It's a request. Number 5, an offer. Can I get you something to drink? And number 6, prohibition. So this one is at the negative form. You can't smoke here. It's not allowed. You cannot smoke here. Let's move on to could. Could has 5 different uses. The first one is as a polite request. Could you pass the salt? We've seen a request with can, but could is more polite. Instead of "Can you pass the salt?" you can say "Could you pass the salt?" Suggestion. You could wear your pink suit. It would be a good idea to wear your pink suit. Past ability. When I was a kid, I could climb trees. Instead of I can climb trees, I could in the past, but now I probably cannot climb trees. Number 4, possibility. The concert could be canceled. If there is lightning and a lot of rain, the concert has the possibility to be canceled. Number 5, conditional, an imaginary situation. So if I had more free time, I could travel more. In this case, it's also a possibility, but the first part of the sentence is a conditional sentence. It's an if sentence. If that condition is met, having more free time, then I have the possibility to travel more. May I have your attention, please? May has 3 different uses. Number 1, as a permission. May I go to the restroom? Number 2, possibility. She may come to the party tonight. She may come, but we are not sure if she will come or not. It's just a possibility. And number 3, a wish or a hope. May you live a long and happy life. So if you're making a toast with your friends for New Year's Eve, for example, may you live a long and happy life. But you also know another one. In a famous movie, they say, may the force be with you. I think it's Star Trek or something like that. Let's check out might. Might has 2 different uses. Possibility. It might rain tomorrow. Bring an umbrella. So you see that many modal verbs show possibility. Might is another one that shows it. It might rain tomorrow. Maybe it will rain, maybe it will not rain, but bring an umbrella because it's possible. Number 2, suggestion. You might want to try updating your software. So might is often used with might want to. So want to is following might. You might want to try updating your software. But you can also use it alone. It might be a good idea to apologize. You should know this one. Should. Should has 2 different uses and they are extremely useful. When you're offering advice, you should see a doctor. And number 2, expectation. We should arrive in about 30 minutes. I expect that we will arrive in about 30 minutes. Up next, must. 3 different uses. First one is obligation. You must wear a seatbelt during takeoff. So if you're taking a plane, when you take off, when you leave the airport, you have the obligation to wear a seatbelt. Number 2, deduction. It can't be real. It must be a fake. So you're deducing that this one is probably not a real one, so it must be a fake. And number 3, prohibition. You must not touch the paintings. Do not touch the paintings, but you must not. It's not allowed. It's prohibited. Let's try a more difficult one. Will. Will has 5 different uses. Number 1, future action. I will call you later. Easy one. Promise. I will always love you. I've heard that many times, but very often it's not true. Number 3, offer. I will help you with that. I'm offering to help you with the boxes. Prediction. She will win the competition. I think she will win the competition. It's my prediction about the future. And finally, a spontaneous decision. I will get the door. So somebody is knocking at the door and you say, oh, there's someone at the door. I will answer the door. I will go and I will open the door. And finally, would. Would has 6 different uses. The first one is to make a polite offer. Would you like a cupcake? Very polite, very nice. Yes, please, may I have one? Polite request. Would you mind closing the doors? Number 3, a past habit. This one is very important. It's a little bit difficult. When we were kids, we would play outside every day. When we were children, we had the habit of playing outside every day. We would. Number 4, conditional unreal. If I were you, I would buy it. If I won the lottery, I would give you the money. It is not real. It's just imaginary. Number 5, future in the past. He thought he would finish the project earlier. So in the past, he thought to himself, I will finish the project. But when you look back at the past, you say, he thought he would finish the project earlier. And the last one is for reported speech. She said she would dye her hair pink. Look at what she said. I think I'll dye my hair pink. So she said she would dye her hair pink. And of course, she did. Modal verbs can get very confusing because some modals are used for the same purpose, and that's where the confusion comes from. Now let's group them to make it easier. We're going to take a look at possibility, permission, advice, and request because these four are the four basic purposes for modal verbs. Number one, possibility. So which modal verbs can you use in this sentence to show possibility? The sentence is, my city be dangerous at night. Which one can you put in the blank? You ready? You could say, my city can be dangerous at night. You could also say, my city could be dangerous at night. My city may be dangerous at night. And my city might be dangerous at night. So we use can, could, may, and might to show possibility. Now, let's take a closer look. If I say there can be traffic on the highway, what is the level of possibility? Is it very possible or is it a little possible? It is about 80% possible that there will be traffic on the highway. So this concept here is the key concept because if you use can, there's a high possibility. What about this one? There could be traffic on the highway. It's about 60% sure, so not as certain as can. May. There may be traffic on the highway. You're only at 50% now. And finally, the last one, there might be traffic on the highway. You're down to 30% possibility, so much lower than the other ones. You should try to remember 80%, 60%, 50%, 30% because it really shows that you can master modal verbs. Okay, which modal verbs can you use in this sentence to show permission? Okay, I give you the 8 modal verbs that we have studied. I eat the last piece of cake. What would you say? You can say can. Can I eat the last piece of cake? You can say could. Could I eat the last piece of cake? May I eat the last piece of cake? Might. I'm putting might here, but might is a little bit different. I'm going to explain it later. And the last one is would, but this one is also different. Let me explain it in the next slide. There are 5 modal verbs that can be used to ask for permission. Can is the first one. Can I take a picture? Now, what is the politeness level? What would you say? Is it very polite or is it a little polite? It's not so polite. It's only 40%. Can I take a picture? If you say, could I take a picture? Is it more polite or less polite? It is more polite. Now you're at 60%. May I take a picture? You're at 70% now. And the last one, would you mind if I took a picture? Oh, you're at 80% now. But you see, that's why I saved it for later, because would I take a picture doesn't make any sense. Would you mind if I took a picture is the way to use would in this context. You could also say, would it be okay if I took a picture? Very nice, also 80%. And would it be all right if I took a picture? Same at 80%. And we said that there are 5 modal verbs that can be used to ask for permission. The last one is might. Might I take a picture? It is very, very formal and very polite, probably around 90%, but it is not as common. It is less common than these 4 that you have on the left-hand side. So I don't recommend using it so much. Which modal verbs can be used to give advice in this sentence? So she looks very cold. So you wear a winter coat. What would you say? You could wear a winter coat. You should wear a winter coat. You must wear a winter coat. And you may wear a winter coat is a little strange, but I will explain later. And also might, but this one is also a little strange. Let's go. So 5 modal verbs can be used to give advice. First one, could. Whoa, nice hairstyle. You could get a haircut. Could, what would be the power level? Could is about 40%. It's not very strong. You could get a haircut. May. I told you it was a little strange because you need not only may, but may want to. You may want to get a haircut, 50%. You might want to get a haircut. Same situation with might want to. This one is at 60%. Oh, you should get a haircut, 80%. And finally, oh man, you must get a haircut. It's 100%. There is no other way. You must get a haircut because you look horrible. Now let's give this one a try. It's about making requests. Which modal verbs can be used to make a request in this sentence? You give me a ride to the airport. Ready? You can say, can you give me a ride to the airport? Could you give me a ride to the airport? Will you give me a ride to the airport? And would you give me a ride to the airport? So there are 4 modal verbs that can be used to make requests. Let's go with the first one. It looks like it's tax season. Tax season is horrible. So the 2 older people are like, can you help us? What is the politeness level? It's not very polite. It's only at 40%. Can you help us? Will you help us? Is at 60%. A little bit higher. Or could you help us? 70%. And finally, would you help us? Is at 80%. So if you want to be more polite, use would.